So this video, I was just wanting to do a quick one before starting work, to be honest. Catch up on where I'm at with the VGA refactoring my operating system. So if we do a quick run of this, you may notice that I fixed a few of the bugs. So one bug that I fixed was, say if we resize this to 10 by 20, maybe 20 by 10. Haven't fixed that one. I might make a note of that. In fact, that just looks like reverse. But yeah, say if we also, sorry if you can hear noises in the background. Got some washing on. Yeah, so here, before we resize, we had an issue where this cursor would be one line up, but that wasn't actually the case. The case was the green line was getting drawn one line over, so it was a simple overflow issue, I guess. And we also had, when we scrolled back down, we would get like a blue thing just before the cursor, and again that was just kind of an overflow. We were getting the font from the character after we were printing. So if we look at so yeah, I think it might have been like here where we stopped doing it. Yeah, so I fixed like a few things. So the fonts also only get mallet when new fonts, like if the old font hasn't been used, otherwise it just reuses that old one. We just have some overflows. I might, because I have a and I've already got might just close that over here. I've got like this one bug where we if we go here and code osdev and run that. Yeah, so scrolling up is quite slow, which we've talked about before. So that was scrolling up, and then scrolling down was, I don't know, it seems like kind of comparable, but if we do this resize again, you can notice the flickering, and like I've let go and it's still going, like it's buffered a bunch. So that's the top, and then when we scroll back down, it's a lot quicker. The reason why is basically to draw this last line, we don't really know where it is. We don't know where the bottom is, which is where the cursor is there, which the cursor should get shown, but that's a side note. And how we're doing it is we're doing the efficient scroll, so we're kind of scrolling everything up one, down one. We're scrolling everything down one, then repainting that line, but then we don't know where the end is here, so we just redraw the whole thing, which is what gets that kind of flicker, and you can kind of see the cursor going all over in the middle there, whereas on the way down it's a lot more efficient. So that's one bug that I thought, and I just want to do this term resize, say 5 by 5. Yeah, so this isn't right. I mean, the colours, they seem right, but we should have cleared like all of this to black. So I might just make another comment on that. Resize down doesn't black. did. What I might do is comment that out again, and do term resize by here. Yeah, so that does the same thing. I mean, it looks kind of right, and a small. Yeah, so it looks like the scroll has kind of worked, but the scrolling is noticeably slower going down there. So it's already going up a couple of things. But I suppose that's just because it's scrolling less by that. So let's look at this, term resize. And I wonder if we have some comments. So this potentially was kind of changed up. So we have a font. Yeah, I think I started changing this, but then didn't. Yeah, so what we do is we set it to black, we clear where it currently is, and then we reset the font to the default, I guess, so that kind of green one. Then we set the new term and width, and then we redraw. So this black isn't really doing the trick. If we look at move, term move. So this has that kind of same pattern that we clear it, then set it, then redraw. And what I might do is, back on this one, if we had that move still in, so that black isn't working. So that's kind of a introduced bug, I guess. So move and resize down to this black. Yeah, that sounds good. So what I might do is we've got a so we'll that does that. Turn move. So we have a move in there. So if we do this, we're currently in the move. What I want is to do that key. Yeah, gets us a bit more space, and we can kind of see side by side. So, first few things are we're doing like comparisons, which should all pass. And now we should be setting the font. So if we go to display DX, that's what we want, double word hex, and if we look at what the term font is, it's apparently 80. That doesn't seem right. So term font black is like that whole thing. I don't know. Display everything because that's more what I want to see. Display term font. Right, we'll just do the print. Print hasn't worked up, I guess. So what we want to do is set that to 8B. So we do that. should set that to 8B. And if we look at what term font black is, it's very similar to the term font default, whereas it should get set up to be black. And I think, yeah, set up default, we kind of do it here. Yeah, so we set the default to be white and green with no attributes, and then we set the term black to be black and black. So if we go term font black, a bunch of zeros. That's kind of what I expected, whereas default should have an F. Yep. So we theoretically on black, can we go back to, we're doing a move. Right, so this term clear, I'll just call it, yeah, so it's cleared it with not the right font. So I guess in term clear, we are using the wrong font right there. Yeah, so that's something we did because yeah, so it was back there. Oh my god, we in like right mode. Yeah, yeah, cool. Term font. So it was something like that. And when we did this, you'll see. In fact, if we text color. So that's the kind of artifact where we had kind of leftover stuff. So what was happening there was the background color at that point was pink, and then it cleared this whole line, and so that's why we've got pink at the end, and then here the background color is white, and so when we cleared the whole line we did that, and then we just overpaint these bits here. So we don't really want that. We want that to be the green and black, the green and white, so the green background. But yeah, so what I think we need to do is have a look at where term clear kind of goes. Gets done in redraw. Yeah, so I think yes, this is what I will do. I think I'll pass in a yeah, I'll pass in just a font with it, not clear line, maybe add a comment here, void term clear, and font editor, I think, font, doesn't actually matter what it is, but I kind of like it just so when I see it I can kind of remember what it is. And move yeah, so we kind of need to pass that on to ex to font and pass that to term clear line. And here we can move EAX to instead of using the default, we'll use font here. Now let's term clear. In fact, let's search with SQL term clear. So when we're redrawing, we want the term font default. Yep. When we're clearing a line, what are we doing? We're scrolling up a line. That's probably the term font default. Here we want to do term font lap, and we don't really care about that stuff. So we don't actually change. Yeah. And same thing here, term font lap. This is looking good. Yeah, so this group here, we don't have anything. I think this is when we're scrolling up, so we probably want to clear it with the default palette. Just make sure I've got everything. Yeah, let's give that a hill. So I guess one thing to test is that kind of still works. And if we term move 0, 0, we're already there. So 10, 10. Yep, so that's working. Resize, what are we? 80, 25. And 10, 10. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Nice little bug fixed. Don't care about that. Also don't care about that because we've just fixed it. What's that fixed me? Yeah, that's a different thing. Yep, they all look good. Cool. So now what I'd like to do, and we go with that code, just because it's easiest to see the kind of slowness and flickering when it's big. Yeah, there was this to do. Fix me. Yeah, so that comment was, I can't recall if this was in the last video, but I'm printing out all the kind of characters the VGA font kind of knows about. So we can see that we have some basic international stuff and the high-end stuff. Below 7, it's basically ASCII. But you'll notice in the, well, I guess these first two, they're like what you call control bytes. So most of them you wouldn't really print, but in VGA fonts they actually map to some characters, and I think if we open up a wee thing, is it doing it? It is. So if we VGA text mode, yeah, this in fact that search I think got it. Yeah, so the just Wikipedia page for this. has a different font down there, but that's alright. But you can see here that it's got a lot more going on up the top than what we have, because say the null byte, it's blank for them, then we got like all the suits, so we have some faces, all the suits, but then the bell to the carriage return before that music symbol, so that's the double one, yeah, so the two semi-quavers, so we're kind of missing these dots in the male and female sign and this music symbol, which could be kind of useful to get that music symbol in. It's currently a carriage return. The problem is with our term driver, we are printing, we're kind of dealing with this carriage return here, which kind of removes our ability to use that as a single musical note, and escape I think was something, so that was after all the errors. It's like that little angle bracket would be quite good. Oh no, we got it there. Oh, so we just don't have the left arrow, which that would be kind of handy to have a left arrow. And you'll see down the bottom we have kind of glyphs that we could use as part of a border of a window. So say if we had this a bit smaller, yeah, I'm of two minds whether when we move, like more like when we start typing. So I started typing, but I had to kind of scroll back down. I think when you enter input, it should snap the scrolling to the bottom, which so this is say if we do that, this is tmarks, which is a bit different because it if we do that, it's got like a lot of kind of key bindings which we don't have in our scroll buffer at the moment. So say if you start typing, it will think you're doing things. So like I typed echo there, but well, in fact I kind of know what the keys do. So say if we're there, E will take us to the end of the word, C will, I guess it's kind of like kind of mix of bindings and not. So like E and B kind of go back and forward words. We can like find a character. So that was like F at, and F colon will go there, and T2. T doesn't actually do anything. Anyway, my point is to get out of this mode, you push enter, and that kind of gets out of that. Whereas in my operating system, we don't really have any visual cue that we are scrolled up, apart from just gibberish at the bottom. Which potentially an idea would be have kind of the input line, so have this bottom line always show, but that's kind of the thing for later. But anyway, I was doing something with this. Yeah, so like say when we're out here, we can have like a border, and maybe like a scroll thing, and if we go back to this one and go to like 8025, that scroll was terrible, and we pushed too many. We can kind of imagine using some of these to show those visual cues of like this is a border. So we've got some corners, like double corners, single corners, and like these full blocks could be a cursor symbol or something, and we can have like arrows at the top and bottom, these fat arrows maybe to kind of show stuff, but I thought I fixed that. anyway, that is all I wanted to kind of go on there. So what do we have in our diff? We've got that. So that was kind of just a tangent, I guess. But if we look at the scroll up, so I believe we even have a to-do. So what I kind of want to do, which looking at the time I'll probably do in a different video, just because I got sidetracked on that other bug, which probably more important than performance. This is a performance issue, whereas the last one was we weren't actually blacking out the screen, so it kind of defeated the purpose. But yeah, so what my kind of idea is, I've got a few ideas. So partly this refactored library, this was kind of refactoring the VGA driver, and in doing this work I'm realizing that I kind of want to refactor some of this new stuff out again, but that will probably happen on a different one. So at the moment the term kind of, it deals with scrolling, it deals with kind of printing, displaying on VGA, telling VGA to display. It also deals with control characters. So it kind of deals with like a bunch of stuff. So what I'm thinking is maybe refactoring it into having like a library for scrolling, and have like a viewport type thing, and the viewport will kind of have a double buffer, so it will know the basically what it will send to VGA. So because I suppose it's worth noting here that VGA it deals with kind of font color, which I don't think it should. It's something I kind of added in there, but I think some kind of intermediate driver should deal with that, and then in the viewport we'll have that double buffer, which will be useful for scrolling. It will be useful for like if you've got like a overlapped window, which we can't really show at the moment. So if you've got like two windows overlapping, I suppose I could kind of show it with, if I remember how to do that. I can't remember off the top of my head, not a good time to do it. Floating windows in i3 could kind of demonstrate having two windows overlapping, and when they're overlapping you only really want to redraw a certain portion of a window, and that could be useful for the viewport to know what it had displayed on screen, and then you just call like a repaint area, and it will repaint just that area with what it knew that was displayed before, and then the window manager can kind of do a more high level thing where you've moved a window, it's now overlapping this window. We'll do like a kind of painter's algorithm, so we'll have like a z index, and kind of bubble up that square through each one until the VGA has what it has. And in the VGA driver I think we should also have a kind of double buffer where we're not displaying the whole thing, because that painter's algorithm would be quite flickery, where say if we had like 10 windows overlapping, we would draw that square like 10 different times, each one kind of overriding what it was before, which it's kind of not the best there, whereas it would be best to kind of have it would be best not to kind of update it. It would be worthwhile noting that yeah, I don't know. When we get to kind of more window managery features, they'll be better. But yeah, I guess my point here was I kind of want to break out this term into maybe like two different things. Well, like maybe the base one could be like a text view, because it's basically displaying text, and this would have like a list of lines. And I also at some point want horizontal scrolling, because well, I guess in Vim we don't really have it. We just have a line around, though we can no line, no wrap. Yeah, no wrap. Yeah, so here I don't think I've ever been in this mode. Here we have a horizontal scroll that we kind of scroll past, and I think the best way to kind of store the information is basically a list of lines, and then the viewport is basically a viewport into what that list of lines is, and the when you move the viewport, you will kind of overwrite what was in there, and when you when you move it, you can kind of yeah. There's kind of two things with the viewport. There's moving the window, which would so I guess like we would also have like a concept of a window, which we don't at the moment. So when you move the window, it would basically it would have the current viewport. So the viewport is like the index into the basically where the scroll is looking. And so when you move the window, you basically copy that, you blank where it was, and maybe repaint all the other components around it, because there might be something hiding behind the window that now needs to get shown. And then the spot where you move it to, you would kind of do that same repainting, but it already has the buffer of what it does. And when you resize it, you would clear that buffer and validate it and basically redraw it, because you don't know what you're going to be displaying at the moment. Whereas scrolling would be kind of changing where the viewport is looking over the text view. And so at that point, when you scroll, you might do some kind of efficient copies. So the vertical scrolling, we've seen it kind of takes most of the lines and just shifts it up one, and that's a good way to kind of use the double buffer that we have. Though at the moment we're just reading from video memory, and that would be a function that would kind of disappear from the VGA driver. Also has func for scrolling. So it would kind of take more stuff out of VGA, which I guess when I was doing this refactor, I was trying to just make VGA a lot less big. I also wonder what it is. Find ASM, yeah, that one. We've got a few things going on. Over 10,000 lines, man. So this term is now bigger than the VGA, but it also has more functionality than we did have in that old VGA. Like we can resize and we can move and resize, which adds a few things. And this VGA text could get smaller. So that would probably be like maybe 150, 200 lines by the time I'm finished. And this would get split up into multiple things. I guess my aim is to not have like too many things over 1,000 lines in one file, because it can get a bit unwieldy on where you're looking, which I'm starting to notice with this term one, which I guess is why I'm thinking, let's turn on set wrap, because that's delete that and cool. That's kind of why I'm thinking of how we're going to break it out. But I guess part of this was this list of lines, because in these scroll methods we kind of do a search for a line. So here we are like going backwards, and we're looking for a new line character. We're also looking for like vertical fade and form fade, which like I know I'm not really testing at the moment, but so when we're scrolling up, we're looking for the last new line, and then we do that kind of efficient thing, which when we have a actual double buffer ourselves, we can do that ourselves. Then we clear that last line, and here we do like a kind of weird thing where we redraw that top line, or bottom line in this case. No, top line, 0. So here we're I always get confused with this. So we're like scrolling up, but we want to scroll the view down. But they're called this way, and it works. But when I refactor, I'll probably be like, oh yeah, that's right. So we kind of redraw that line multiple times, because every time it wraps, we'll print from where it wrapped, and the idea is we want to print the last wrap, the last bit of that line that is before the top of where we are now, which it works, because like if we look at this run where we're kind of at a small, you'll see like these lines are kind of wrapping. So like this purple one starts here, but it ends all the way there. And so if we scroll up there, so it starts at 0. Next line we should go up. That should do the 5, which it does. The next one it should do the 2, which it does. Next one it should do the 7, which it does. Thing is, to get that 7 displayed up, it's actually displaying first the 0, then it's printing the next one, then it's printing the next one, but it's doing it all on the same line until a point where it's like, oh, that is like, if you get to a point where you're at the next line, that's when it'll be like, nah, we need to stop now. So that's kind of what that loop does, and we kind of want to do the same thing for the bottom, because currently we're just doing a term redraw, and so if we don't do that, so if we scroll up, we can't scroll down anymore, because we don't know where scroll bottom is. It thinks scroll bottom is basically, now we get like this weird thing. It thinks scroll bottom is here. When we scroll up, it thinks scroll bottom is here. If we scroll up a few more times, it thinks scroll bottom is like down here. And so when we try and scroll down, it's making a beacon on my nose saying you're at the bottom. So that's the problem that we're trying to solve there, that we want to find where scroll bottom is. And the way I'm thinking of doing it is similar to doing the top, which we need to do to display the content, whereas the bottom we need to do to find the offset. Which, quite similar problem, but solved in a similar way. But this time I think we'll go back and find the last new line, and then we want to kind of print until before we're at the scroll bottom. So what we could do is, say we had line that kind of wraps like this. So say we only have like 5 characters, and next, yeah. So I don't know, that's going to be like that, and there is a space there. It's not letting me. My linter will not let me have a space at the end, which is probably good. I mean, I can have it before I save, but when I save, it'll get rid of it. Yeah. So what is happening here is, yeah, when we scroll up, that will kind of go down. Yeah, that will go down, and then we will get like a prev there. And at this point here, we still think the offset is, let's mark it with like a tilde or something. So we think that is where the scroll offset is, but we know that this is the start of the last line, which we can do by, from here, going have you got a new line, and it'll find a new line like here, everyone there, and so it'll land on this N, and then it'll be like, cool, now I need to like print things, and so it will print that line, and that will kind of get us an index at this point here, which we can put like a hash, at which point we need to work out whether we should stop there, but we can't really. So what we would do is go from that point and then print line, and then we would have that point there. At that point we know that the offsets are the same, which means that we actually want to go back to this one, and at that point we want to set the scroll buff to be there. If we did that again and kind of do that, here we've got quite a big last line, so here we would scroll back and we'll find the new line there, so we'll land here, and what we want to do is on this last line we want to print, so we would print that, we'll get that, it'll be like, we need to do that again, so we'll do that, we'll need to do it again, and at this point here it would also find a new line, so it will be like, cool, we've reached the end of that line, so we'll do that. If we do that again, and so here we scroll back and we get the A, so we'll do the A, we'll get there, then we'll do the B, we'll get there, we would do the C, at which point we see they're the same, and at that point we would be like, cool, we need to redraw that last one we had. So there's a bit of like overshooting in this version. Now what I kind of want to do is make a function that doesn't actually draw it, it just looks through it to work out where the offsets are, and then we can kind of save just the offsets, and then when we want to actually print it, we can just print what we want. In fact, we don't actually need to print it because it's already got BBB there. All we need to do is know where that offset is. So in that way we can kind of pretend to print it, check, pretend to print, check, pretend to print, oh, we got the old scroll bottom, so we need to go back a line, and at which point we should have the last offset kind of saved somewhere, and then we can say, cool, that is our new scroll bottom, and that would just solve this flickering thing here, because we would no longer need that term redraw, and it would just scroll really smoothly rather than have that flicker, and we would be able to scroll back down. So that is probably what I will work on in the next video, and probably after that bug, because that's like the last bug that we have. There is one bug that I'm kind of holding off, which if we go run test, we get a panic. So we get a panic in puts, because puts is tests. Puts used a gross hacky thing where we like check that we printed the string that we expected, which I'm not sure is a good test. I think that's testing something that puts shouldn't really test, because I guess it's like something that we can test, and in the future we'll probably have like we'll probably have a like hook into putjara writes, but yeah, well, I'd probably just do that and not actually maybe with a to do some way to test whether the string is actually printed. Yeah, cool. So that's that, and we would get rid of that hacky hack. And now we do that. Yeah, so we. Right, 69. Yeah, so we don't want that either. And now if we run tests, we get a panic further on. So that's so we're resetting term. So it's annoying when you're in panic. You can't actually scroll back. But yeah, how I would probably do that for release is. Where do we do this form feed? What is a form feed? It's like an F. I'd probably just do that. Oh no, that is not right. It was failing on this one, wasn't it? Oh yeah, better go. Run test. Reset term. Should reset term. Yeah, it's failing on this one. Which why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. But if we comment that, I mean, these tests should probably get done a different way. That's doing on testing null. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so down the bottom here, test null, and that's breaking for some reason. I kind of want to see. That's an annoying one. Yeah, maybe getting scrolling done on Panic would be good. Yeah. God, we don't even know where we are here, but yeah, that's annoying. What I could do is source boots 32 in this Panic. Yep, Panic. We just won't call backtrace for now. And just so this way we panic and see what it is. Yeah, so that's in put char. Put char, and let's make that big. Yeah, so this might have also that same kind of issue. Yep, that does that. So that's not what it failed on, I think. Yeah, that, I don't know, it's failing on like printing a tab, doesn't actually get a tab. Returned, which is that what put char is meant to do? Return value, return the character written. Yeah, so there are some bugs with the text. So I guess where I was going with that was after doing the scrolling bug, I was thinking of doing a new release. It's been about a month since I did the last version 0.0.2. 0.0.0.2. Was that right? I thought I did a 3 at some point. Yeah, anyway, I'll probably do another one. But I would like to have the test working in a semi-testable state just to kind of show that it is doing the right thing. But yeah, till next time, I guess. I might do another video this evening, but we'll see how I go. I might just do more stuff offline like I did for the last couple of nights. Anyway, have a good day and see you another time.